What's up, guys? Ron Harris, online editor for MD, here for the third time live today. My goodness, what a news day we're having. Liver King, Aaron Singerman, released from prison. And now details of the Masters Olympia were announced. And, luckily Jake Wood and his crew, they have their shit together, so we have a lot of details already about the Masters Olympia. Before we get started, please, if you like these videos, like them, share them, leave some comments. It's good for the algorithm thing. And also want to let you know, great content on this channel. And tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, interview I did today with Big Ramy. That's right, Big Ramy. Sat down with, I was sitting here in Boston. They were in Arizona. Ramy and Dennis James, who are 2 weeks and 1 day out from the 2022 Olympia. Great interview, about 40 minutes. Really got into it and had a good discussion. So check that out tomorrow morning, guys, 9:15 a.m. Interview with two-time and reigning Mr. Olympia, Big Ramy. Now, Masters Olympia has been announced. We knew as far back as the Romania Muscle Fest, when MC Billy Garnon let everyone know on stage it was going to take place in Romania next August. So we know that it's going to be August 25th through 27th at the BT Arena in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. Sure, you Romanian people are going to kill me for ruining the pronunciation. So, this is the surprising thing. A lot of us assumed, we had heard they were going to have all divisions, but I thought that was just going to be for men. Because apparently I'm I'm backward, and I assume that. But it's going to be all divisions, every single division. Although, I don't know if wheelchairs in there. I don't see wheelchair in there, so maybe they need to add that. So it's going to have every single men's and women's division. In past, the Masters Olympia was held, I think, like 10 times in the 90s and early 2000s. But it was just one show for bodybuilding. It wasn't, they didn't have 212 or anything. It was Masters competitors. Most of them had been previous Olympia competitors in years past. And we'll get into all that. But so first thing to let you know is the age requirements are different for different divisions. It's over 40 for wellness, which is a brand new division. So to have a Masters Olympia for a division that just started is kind of bikini, fitness, men's physique, men's classic physique, women's physique, and figure. So you have to be 40. That's it, just 40. You have to be over 45 for men's bodybuilding, 212, and women's bodybuilding. Basically just the bodybuilding divisions, you have to be 45. And I'm pretty sure the rationale behind that is a lot of the top bodybuilders in open, 212, and in women's bodybuilding, they're at least 40 anyway. So you would have guys like, I think Bonnex over 40. There's several guys who are still competing at the Olympia level that are over 40. And in the 212, you have like Sean Clarita's 40. He could jump in. So to make it a little more competitive and to keep some of these current guys from just jumping in and snatching the title away from somebody, 45 and over for bodybuilding, open 212 for men, and women's bodybuilding. Everything else, it's over 40. So it's going to be invitation only. It says participation based on individual application. Please send your letter of intent to Masters Olympia at MrOlympia.com. Now, I'm guessing, I don't know if people will be exempt. Some people like big names won't have to apply, but I'm pretty sure they would want to invite people like in the thumbnail, Dexter Jackson, who just retired a couple of years ago. Phil Heath, who never officially retired and still looks fantastic. And you got past guys, so many great past guys. I think Chris Cormier already said he wanted to do it. So you'll have a ton of good people in that'll probably just get invited anyway. Kai, I mean, my goodness, why wouldn't Kai jump in this? Kai's, pushing 50. He's never won an Olympia. This would be an Olympia title. We did a whole video about that a couple weeks ago. So the application letters, this is what they need to send. Athlete background, such as age, country, titles, competitive history, including the last show the athlete took part in, social media accounts, so they can check out your socials. I wonder if having an OnlyFans will disqualify. I don't think too many of these women have OnlyFans at that pro level, but a lot of the pros and amateurs do have OnlyFans. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. Social media accounts, so they can follow you. Optional, so you don't have to have this, but a video application no longer than 1 minute. Pictures of the athlete's actual shape, meaning what you're looking like now, because, if you're trying to get into the Masters Olympia and the last time you looked really good was 20 years ago or something, I'm just throwing a crazy number out there. I think they should actually have that in there as one of the mandatory things. Application deadline will be April 10th, 2023. List of invitations will be published April 24th, 2023. So we'll know who's going to be in it by the end of next April, 2023. Now, if I was promoting this, and first of all, I probably would have just had one big division for the men, because, Masters Olympia to me, I'm thinking of those people like the Chris Cormiers, the Kai Green, Phil Heath, Dennis Wolf, people of that caliber. People have been top 5 or at the least top 10 at the Olympia already. I mean, I personally, if I was a fan paying good money, big money for tickets, I would want to see big names. I wouldn't want to see stars. I wouldn't want to see some guy who just squeaked in, because I was hearing guys talking about, I'm going to do the Masters Olympia. Once they heard there was going to be a Masters Olympia, I think they assumed it would be like anybody who was old enough and had a pro card would be welcome. Like it'd be an open show. Like they could have 100, 200 people on stage. No. They got to make it, they have to limit it because they're trying to sell tickets. They're trying to sell sponsorship packages to supplement companies, equipment companies, clothing companies, beverage companies. They're trying to maximize the value of this event for vendors, for potential vendors. And of course, people are going to pay big bucks to see this. They want to see stars. Now, I only say this because there's a good amount of Masters pros, people who turn pro as Masters. The vast majority of them never did an open show. And if they did, they got smoked, like destroyed. Like I've been at shows, maybe it was like this Chicago Pro, Tampa Pro, New York Pro, whatever. I've been at shows where I see some guy who looks a little older. I'm like, where did this guy turn pro? Because he's so out of place in the lineup against, you got guys like Andrew Jack or something up there on stage. And then you got some guy who's, not even half his size and just one of these things doesn't belong. So some Masters pros look phenomenal. I'm not going to go by names. Some of them look phenomenal and some of them have done open pro shows. To my knowledge, I can think of a couple guys, only a couple guys. Josh Wade from California is the only guy who turned pro as a Masters that I'm aware of who was able to place top 5 in an open bodybuilding show, not a Masters pro show, open up against anybody, like a Dexter or Phil Heath, guys of that caliber. I believe, I heard Kareth Baggio, who's a top 212 competitor from Connecticut, who's going into the 212 Olympia. I think I saw on a post today that he had turned pro as Masters, which I didn't know. I really didn't know how. I don't follow the amateur scene like I used to, so I don't keep track. But there are some guys who turn pro as Masters who just got very, very lucky. Not a lot. I say this because from my own experience. I competed. I tried to get my pro card as a Masters. I failed. I'll say it. But there are guys who I would have beaten who just got very, very lucky. They showed up at a show where there was very few people, or maybe the people that were there, nobody was in shape. They were in shape. They got a pro card. I look better than some guys who have IFBB pro cards. Not many, and by no means by saying most. I didn't look better than most guys who turn pro as Masters, but I look better than some of them. So for those guys to think, I'm going to jump in the Masters Olympia, no. You can apply. They're never going to take somebody of that caliber if you're not good enough to be on stage next to a Dexter or a Phil Heath and not look like a different species of well, I can't say human, but it's going to be for the elite. It should be for the elite because that's the Olympia title, the Mr. Olympia, the Ms. Olympia. These are the best in the world. So for the Masters Olympia, even though they're older, I still want to see the top physiques. I want to see the best physiques of that caliber. And I'm telling you, if there are some guys who aren't big names, but they submit their applications and they look phenomenal, I'm sure a couple of those guys are going to get in there. I don't think it's going to be all big names, but they're going to have to cap it. They're not going to let 50, 60, 100 people be on stage at one time. They're going to cap it at a certain number, and that's what it is. So let me go to the live, guys. let's see. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I love your opinions. That's why we do it live. I like to hear your opinions. We can have a little discussion. So let's get to it. I'll never get over this cold, huh? I'm never getting over this cold. Nothing. Wow, I'm surprised. I thought I saw some comments. No, you guys are cool with all this? Yeah, because I mean, I'm just curious who you guys think should be in the Masters Olympia. Should it be only like legendary names, guys who've been like top 5, top 6 in Olympia at some point in their careers, or should we open it up? You know, it's not our decision to make anyway. It's going to be the promoters, Jake Wood and his team. They're going to be reviewing applications, pictures, videos, looking at social media accounts. They want the best show possible, of course. They want to have the best lineup. Every promoter wants the best possible lineup on his or her stage on contest day. That's what it's all about. Big names. People buy tickets to see big names. You have a pay-per-view. People are far more likely to buy a pay-per-view for a contest with some big names of people they're excited to see competing versus if they look at a lineup and they're like, I don't know who that is. Who's that? No idea. So I do tend to think we're going to have mostly bigger names at this. I am curious about some of these divisions because some of them are so new. Wellness, for example, last year was the first year, I believe, for pro wellness in the IFBB Pro League. So, you know, I don't know if any of the women competing now, or more than a couple of them, are over 40 anyway. So for that, you probably would have mostly women who turn pro in wellness at a Masters show somewhere. I'm really not sure how they're going to work that. Classic is another one because Classic is a fairly new division. It started in 2016. So you have to be over 40. I don't know how many of these guys in Classic are over 40. The first Olympia champion, Danny Hester, he's my age. He's 53. I think he should jump in there. He's always in shape anyway. He always looks ready to compete. But most of these guys in Classic are young dudes. They're all, a lot of them are in their 20s, early 30s at the most. It's a young sport, Classic. Dane Christensen, most of the wellness athletes won't tell you how old they are. Yeah, because there still is that ageism and discrimination in our society towards women when they're older, where it's okay for a guy to get older. We look distinguished and this and that, and our value, increases because we tend to become more confident, financially a lot more stable as we get older. So youth is more prized among women than it is for men, for sure. Yeah, I'm just curious how many of these wellness athletes competing like at the Olympia level, I don't know if any of them are 40. Is Dr. Sonny Andrews maybe? I'm just trying to figure who looks like they could possibly be 40. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, I'm 53. 40 to me is not old at all. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to have all these divisions, fitness has a lot of over 40 women already. Yeah, I think a lot of the top, some of them are retired, but there's a few of them like Whitney Jones, who's won it the Olympia, 2 or 3 times? She's over 40 already. Dane also adds they should do a rivalry-based invite. Kai versus Phil, Flex versus Chris, something like that would be cool. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Flex Wheeler come out of retirement for this, but I did hear Chris Cormier was interested, which is fascinating because I don't think Chris has been in bodybuilding shape, with all the muscle mass and lean for a very long time. So it'd be interesting to see him. Kai never really lost a beat. I mean, Kai would be my pick, honestly. I'm not saying he's going to win or anything, but if we're talking about who's over 45 right now, who looks the best? Oh, you know what? That means Phil Heath wouldn't be eligible. I don't think Phil's 45 yet. He's not. No. Was he? Yeah, he won't even be 45 by then. So even if Phil wanted to do it, I just realized that Phil wouldn't be eligible for this. He's too young. So Phil, you're going to have to wait. I don't know if he wanted to do it anyway. Phil's commentating in this Olympia, by the way. Vincent Caballero, Mike O'Hearn should be invited to do the Classic or board tours. Well, I don't know if you guys realize, Mike is not an IFBB pro. I don't know if he ever even tried to get his pro card in the IFBB Pro League in the NPC. He competed a lot of natural organizations, like the ABA, which was mostly on the West Coast back in the day. I think he won like their Natural Universe, Natural Olympia or something, but Yeah, Mike never turned pro. Believe me, if he did a Masters qualifier, Masters USA, Masters Nationals, Masters North American, pretty confident Mike could get his pro card if he wanted to, but clearly he's never really needed. He's got so many other things going on. He doesn't need a pro card affixed to his name to boost his career. He's all set, Mike O'Hearn. But yeah, I agree though. Mike O'Hearn would be great. He's 53. He looks phenomenal. Yeah, Mike hasn't competed. Mike O'Hearn has not competed in bodybuilding as far as I know in at least 20 years. For a while, he was doing bodybuilding shows. He was competing in judo. I think he was doing was he doing powerlifting or Olympic lifting? He was doing powerlifting, I think. But I don't think he's done any kind of competition in many, many years. Raymond Jones, Kamal and Phil Clayhar would be good. Yeah. Is Phil 45? Is Phil? I know Kamal's old enough. Kamal's like 52, right? Kamal could do it. I'd love to see Kamal up there. Yeah. Good idea. Good thinking, Raymond. Yeah, Kamal for sure. Phil Clayhar, yeah. I think Phil's 45. He might even be 46 or something. Yeah. Good call on that. Those are a couple good suggestions. Eddie Sketty. They have to apply and everything, but I don't think there'd be a problem with them getting in. Personally, they're very good. Eddie Sketty, I think they will have a tough time getting bigger names to the Masters show because of what Branch Warren touched on. He says he wants people to remember him at his best. He's not considering it. Yeah, but there'll still be a few other people that will do it, that will want to. And I agree. I mean, in years past, because they did have Masters Olympia, like I said, that show was held, I want to say about 10 times. And there were a few instances I remember where there were pros from like as far back as the 70s or 80s who got back into this because they had I think they had over 40, over 50, and over 60. They had 3 different age divisions going. And some of these guys, it was sad. It was sad to see them because they were shadows of their former selves, loose, saggy skin, a lot of muscle mass was gone, no kind of condition. Like they looked like off-season condition, if that. Not all of them. Some of them looked fantastic. I mean, you had guys like Vince Taylor winning who still looked ridiculous. That's why he was winning. I think he won 5 or 6 of those Masters Olympia titles. But yeah, I don't want to see anyone coming back. That's why I think that list should have had, you should have to show what you look like now. Because I wouldn't want to take the chance that someone's going to show up looking horrible. Let's see. Arthur Carvalho, the diabetic German that competed in the 212 category, is still in shape. Diabetic German. Ronnie Raquel. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. He's got to be over 45 by now, right? He's got to be. Raymond Jones, the only guy I heard that is interested is Darren Charles. Yeah. If I was Darren, I don't know if I would do the Open. I would probably try to do Classic. I don't know if Darren's got the mass to hang with the bigger dudes. Yeah. Let's see. Vincent Caballero, Vince Taylor, he's still jacked. Yeah. I could see Vince coming back and, depending on who else is in the lineup, winning. I don't think Vince has lost. Vince is 60, early 60s. I want to say he's like 62 now. Talk about genetic freak. He still looks basically the same. I don't think he's downsized much at all, which leads me to believe he was never on a lot of gear. You guys are going to say, no, he had to be on 10 grams of gear. No. Some of these guys, especially if they have, Nigerian or Caribbean ancestry, some of them do not need much gear at all to be superhuman looking. Vince Taylor, he's still jacked, yeah. Yeah, Vince Taylor's a good call. I'd like to see Vince. I wonder if Vince is interested. We're going to be hearing more. I'm sure now that the info is out and there's a solid date, a location, and criteria, I think we're going to be hearing from more people that are interested in doing it. And, we're not going to know for sure who's in it until next April 24th when they post that, which really, that's not that far away. This is already December, so December to January, February, March, April. Yeah, so like 4 months and 3 weeks we're going to know. Marcus Ruhl. I'd like to see Marcus back up there. Yeah. I'll tell you a quick funny story. First time I saw Marcus Ruhl, I want to say it was 98, 99. I was still living in California at the time. I was in the pro shop of Gold's Venice, where they sell all the t-shirts and all that stuff. And somebody was looking through a rack of clothes, shirts to buy. And I had never seen somebody so wide, shoulders out to here, back, traps, had like a short buzz cut. And I said, who the hell is this? And I walked, being a creep, I walked around, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I still didn't recognize him. So it was probably like 97 or so. But I went over, and his English was spotty, but, better than my German. And it was Marcus Rule. And I was like, geez. I said, dude, you're freaking great. You're going to be, and he did. He did pretty damn well for himself, didn't he? Dane Christensen, how many jacked old dudes go to your gym? I have several where I train. Not many. I'm one of the oldest guys who's in any kind of shape at my gym. There's a couple guys, but as far as like over 45, over 50, you still have that like bodybuilder look. Not too many. My gym, Bayshore Athletic Club in Braintree, is a pretty big gym, a couple thousand members. Huge gym, a lot of square feet. You could play baseball in there. The Boston Mass for a comeback. I'd love to see Jose, but that's being very selfish of me. He's had his hip replaced. His shoulders are all jacked up. He has no intention, no interest of getting back on stage, to my knowledge. Dane Christensen, Melvin Anthony. There's a good one. Yeah, Melvin's got to be up there. Melvin's got to be at least 45 by now. And I assume, I never heard of him having any crazy injuries or health problems. I assume Melvin could get back up there. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that the Olympia promoters are going to reach out to these people. I think they're leaving it up to the athletes to do that. I'm sure there are a couple cases like Kai where they might reach out. If I was promoting it, I would. I'd be like, Kai, what up, dude? We're having Masters Olympia. Let's go. Come on. We want you in the show. I would contact a few big name people who fit the criteria, who are old enough. But I think it's going to be up to the athletes. And like I said, there are a lot of masters, a lot of people who turn pro as masters. Some of them could very well, even though if I rattled off some names, I guarantee you most of them would be like, huh? Who's that? But I guarantee you some of them would be comparable. Some of them. Because, I mean, and when I say this, guys, I'm not trying to put down, I mean, I'm old and I tried and failed to turn pro as a master, but most of the guys who turn pro as masters, they're not of the caliber of the guys in the open. It's not just an age thing. They never were that good. If they were that good, most of these guys would have turned pro long ago when they were in their 20s or 30s, not when they were like 40, 45, 50. With exceptions. Someone's going to say, so-and-so turned pro at 42 and he's awesome. Yes, I'm speaking in generalizations here, guys. Most of the guys and girls who turn pro as masters, and I've met many of them and seen many of them, would not fare well on an open stage where there's no age restriction. Even when a lot of them go to Masters Pro shows, a lot of them don't do very well because, like I said, the caliber is not the same as open. Like, I never, ever was good enough to turn pro in the open at like USA, Nationals, North American. I was never good enough. I would have gotten top 10 if I was lucky. And it would have been like on condition and presentation and things like that. I never had great shape. I was never massive. I was like, the most I ever competed at in decent shape was like 208 at 5'8", which is not very big compared to these guys. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see who gets selected and what they look like. And if some of these people who maybe they got into bodybuilding later in life, maybe they missed their chance to do it while they were in their like 20s and 30s. Maybe some of these people will be of the caliber to stand next to bigger names and compare well to them. Maybe even beat a lot of the bigger names. If they show up shredded and these big name people from the past, they don't bring the conditioning. Squat Master Productions. When is the Masters? So it is August. I just had it up on the other screen. Masters Olympia is going to be August 25th through 27th next year at the BT Arena in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. They're having it in Romania. In fact, the first post I saw was from Alina Popa, who is Jake Woods' significant other and co-promotes all these big events. She's instrumental in all these Romania shows, I'm sure. So that's it, guys. That's the news on the Masters Olympia. It will have all divisions. You have to be 45 or over to be in the bodybuilding open 212 and women's bodybuilding. All other divisions, you have to be 40. And they will have all divisions. Kevin Levroni, I wouldn't write him off. You never know what Kevin's going to do. He might do it. Prize money amount they have not gotten that far. No. I assume by like next April, we'll have that info. I don't think it's going to be comparable to like the Mr. Olympia prize money, but who knows? Maybe if they can get enough sponsorships and stuff, maybe. Yeah. So interesting for those of us who, especially if you've been following the sport for a long time, we might see some names in there, some people we haven't seen on stage in a very long time. Maybe some people who left the sport who still had more gas in the tank, who still had more to give, and we'll see. Interesting. So I'll be following. Lee Priest would do it, yeah. Lee Priest would do very well. He still looks pretty good. I don't think he has any major injuries or anything, right? Yeah. He's old enough, I'm sure, at this point. Who else? Thanks, Ron. Thank you for listening. Passion. Thank you, Vincent. Appreciate you guys watching. And again, tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. on this channel, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time in the USA, my interview I did today with Big Ramy at just 2 weeks out from the Olympia at his training camp, him and Dennis James in Arizona. I was so happy to get that interview. Obviously, I've never had him on a Ron Line Report before. I've talked to Ramy briefly at shows for interviews, sticking a microphone at him, but never was able to sit down and have a real conversation like this. So interesting stuff. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Talk to you later.